India's qualification for the Women's Cricket World Cup semi-final hangs by a thread, and that's because of a heartbreaking, narrow defeat by just 9 runs to Australia last night. This was India's last group stage game. Now we have to speak about what went wrong with the team. But before that, let's talk about whether India can still make it to the top 4. All eyes are on the New Zealand versus Pakistan match, the last group stage game in Group A. That will determine who will make it to the semi-final. Indian fans will have to cheer for a Pakistan win so that India goes through, but by not so much. Let me explain. Here's how the group looks. If you take a look at it, this is how it looks like at this point. Australia, of course, has qualified right at the top, sitting on top of that points table after that win. They have 8 points, an amazing net run rate. They're through to the semi-finals. But mathematically, 3 teams are in the fray for that second spot, and they happen to be the 3 teams below Australia, India, New Zealand and Pakistan. New Zealand and Pakistan, they play the last group game tonight. Obviously, it's advantageous because you have the calculations right in front of you. A win by New Zealand over Pakistan is all they need, just a win, and they're through, because that will mean they'll have more points than India. They will leapfrog India. Of course, had India beaten Australia last night, things would have been trickier for the White Ferns. They will have had to win by a certain amount of margin to make it past India. But for now, the win is enough. Of course, if Pakistan beats New Zealand, they also come level with India on 4 points, which means it all boils down to the net run rate. So that's why India will be hoping that Pakistan win, but just about, so that the net run rate is still not as good as theirs. Obviously, it's quite a lot to happen for India to make it to the knockouts. So how did India, one of the strongest sides in the tournament, find themselves in this situation here? It's simply put that first game against New Zealand. That really hurt them. A game they were caught napping, a match that saw their captain Harmanpreet Kaur lose her cool, the seniors in the side not delivering. India looked like the side they truly are only in the games that followed that. The seniors pulled their weight. The lead pacer was clinical. Top order contributed. Fielding was phenomenal, but it was not enough. They were strategically behind when it came to stopping Australia.
The entire team contributes. They don't depend on 1 or 2 players. They have a lot of all-rounders who contribute. We also planned well, and we were there in the game. They didn't give away easy runs and made it difficult. They are an experienced side. We know their experience. They know how to win games like that. We have to learn from them.
That was Indian captain Harmanpreet Kaur right after that loss, and rightly said there. Australia just know how to win from any scenarios. Just size the 2 teams up on the night here. One team had 2 key personnel injured out of the game. One was their captain and keeper, and the other one of their key pacers. They were playing in front of a very partisan crowd that was vociferously supporting the opposition. And then you have the other side. Yes, they had an injury. It was a last-minute one. One of their key spinners, Asha Shobana, injured herself just before the game. A big blow. But they had their captain right there in the middle when the onus was there to take her team across the line. She'd scored a half-century. She looked good. Yet they ended up falling short. Smriti Mandhana was not among the runs in one of the most critical games. The 17th over by Megan Schutt, that was clinical, where Kaur was kept quiet. Then, of course, that last over. Harmanpreet is still there, but she's losing her partners at the other end. It's a big ask, yet she takes a single in the middle of the over to give an inexperienced, actually just about anyone else, the strike when she was the woman in form, the woman to take her team through. There are, of course, many questions that we can ask here, but the larger point is these things matter. The smaller things, the smaller moments is where it makes the difference between winning and ending up on a losing side in a high-pressure situation like this match was. Australia managed to hold its nerves, and that's quality right there, a mindset and a mental makeup that very few teams can really boast of the world over. That mental aptitude is what probably set the 2 teams apart yesterday. Both had setbacks, yet one emerged stronger than the other. showing no over-reliance on just one person and rising to the challenge, something India can only learn from. Yes, this loss is heartbreaking and there is still some hope for the fans, but there is much to reflect on even post this tournament.
Firstpost decodes the U.S. election. Explains how America chooses its president. Your primer on the race to the White House. Everything you need to know about how America votes and its global implications. U.S. Election Explained. Every Monday and Thursday only on Firstpost.